What's up, everybody? We're just 2 episodes into James Gunn's new DCU, and I feel like I've got a new theory every minute, but this one we're diving into today was maybe the biggest light bulb moment I've had with the channel, and it's all about Rick Flag Sr. Before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe so you're not missing out on videos or streams throughout the week. Now let's get into it. This all comes from the first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos and also a couple of interviews that now have new meaning to me with those episodes being out and also just having an idea of what the DCU is going to be. Ironically, it spawns out of a simple line of dialogue that I initially just shrugged off, but then shit goes down at the end of episode 1. The line of dialogue I'm referencing is when Amanda Waller tells Rick Flag Sr. that Dr. Phosphorus will give him a free vasectomy. And if you don't know Dr. Phosphorus, which I guess would mean you haven't seen the episode so you might be lost in this video because his origin was briefly explained, he's a radioactive supervillain from Batman's Rogues Gallery, but all you need to know for this video is that he's radioactive. That's important and only became important to me because of the fight between Rick Flag Sr. and Dr. Phosphorus. There are multiple instances where Flag either hits him and pulls back with a burn, or where Phosphorus grabs him and gives a burn, which has made me believe we've got a cancer storyline heading our way with Rick Flag Sr. in the DCU. But I don't think it will be a factor in this show. Like, he's not going to get taken out of a fight because of his cancer and it developed that fast, but I do think maybe there's a chance it starts to show its colors, maybe like towards the finale or in the finale, but my best guess would be it's going to be a massive part of Peacemaker Season 2. In fact, let's take a step back before we go any further and look at his place in the DCU, and Frank Grillo recently laid it out for us in an interview saying, in Creature Commandos, I got the uniform, I got the yellow shirt and the hair, and he's really part of that world. And then in Superman, and even more so in Peacemaker, I take over for Viola Davis in what she was, the leader of Argus. Now, I don't know about you guys, and I know we've only spent 2 episodes with him, but Rick Flag Sr. doesn't strike me as the office type. He's a field guy, and I'd imagine even more so these past 2 years with the only familiarity for him being fighting. It's all he's got left with his wife and now his son gone. But he's also got that deep love for his country and protecting it, which is how we find him in Pokolistan with the Creature Commandos. He's going to lead them throughout this show, and maybe somewhere along the line, as I said earlier, most likely towards the end of the show, he loses a step and thinks, just father time is catching up naturally and shrugs it off as nothing when it's a big deal. Then things get interesting when we move to his appearance in Superman, as we saw him arresting the Man of Steel alongside the Engineer and Ultraman, which is interesting considering Congress outlawed human task force members, but that's a conversation for a different day. I would imagine, and this feels kind of obvious, but Rick Flag isn't going to be going up against Superman himself. He's not going to take on Hawkgirl or Metamorpho, but maybe he's not even there to fight. I mean, obviously, Argus has some role in this story, but maybe his purpose is working alongside Lex Luthor to find a cure for the cancer that Phosphorus gave him, and maybe Lex is telling Argus and Rick Flag Sr. that cure is in Superman. But whether or not that's successful may not matter, as I found an interesting connection to the comics. In Creature Commandos, it's been 2 years since Corto Maltese, the death of Rick Flag Jr., and in the comics, Rick Flag Sr. makes the ultimate sacrifice 2 years after his wife passes away. So, if Superman, or no, I guess it would have to be Peacemaker since he's going to appear in both, takes place in the same year as Creature Commandos, that sacrifice could be driven by his cancer being a ticking time bomb anyway. With that, let's shift our focus to Peacemaker Season 2 and what I believe will be Flag's final appearance in the DCU. We know he's still working with Argus at this point, so you have to assume he's either A, being forced to work with Peacemaker, or B, using his position at Argus to get files, and then he'll pursue Peacemaker. I'm kind of leaning towards the latter because I think it allows for him to still be on Waller's side, maybe with some trust issues, only to end up working with Peacemaker when he realizes it's all on his boss, Amanda Waller. But if my cancer theory comes to be, you then have that clock in Flag's head that might influence the decisions he makes. That shot clock on your life, combined with the grief and anger of working with and Potentially in a crazy world, being the boss of the guy who killed your son could make a man do some bad shit. We know there's going to be a revenge element to Peacemaker Season 2. Frank Grillo has mentioned it a couple times in interviews, and I think we're going to get to see Frank put his best performance of his career to the big screen, or I guess little screen, in Peacemaker as Rick Flag Sr. races against Father Time to get revenge for his son. And with that, I've been operating under the assumption, and I'm still kind of 50-50 between the two, but I've just assumed it's going to be Rick Flag Sr. versus Peacemaker. However, I sat and thought about it, and I kind of think he could turn on Waller after learning about her part in Junior's death, and she's the one who sent him on a mission with phosphorus, which in this case scenario, if it pans out, would be what gave him cancer. I think him taking her down would obviously make him a pick to replace her, but if the cancer gets him, she could wiggle her way out of things as she does, leading us to her show, which could be Gunn's next project. Who knows? Alright, let's do a quick recap here just to wrap it up and make sure everybody got it. Rick Flag Sr. gets cancer from Dr. Phosphorus in Creature Commandos. The cancer then starts to show its colors towards the end of that show, and more so in Superman, before becoming the main plot for Flag in Peacemaker Season 2, where it's going to win the battle. I do really think this could be a powerful story, and with Gunn writing the character for Frank, I think we're in for a powerful story. And so that'll do it for today's video. Thank you for stopping by the Nerdverse, and I want to know what you think about my theory, so let me know down in the comments below and make sure you have a great day.